Most people think cutting off old friends means you're heartless, cold, arrogant, ungrateful. They imagine one sharp moment, one argument, one dramatic exit. But that's not how it actually happens. The truth is quieter, slower. It begins long before the goodbye. It starts when conversations feel heavier than silence, when you leave interactions feeling drained instead of understood, when you notice you're editing yourself just to keep the peace. And here's the uncomfortable part no one talks about. People who walk away usually care more than anyone realizes. They stay longer than they should. They explain more than they need to. They doubt themselves until the doubt hurts more than the friendship. Cutting off an old friend isn't a sudden decision. It's the final breath after years of holding it in. Most people assume distance is about anger or revenge, but it's rarely that simple. Psychologically, our brains crave balance. We can only give so much of ourselves before the scales tip. When a friendship becomes one-sided, it starts to cost more than it gives. Energy, trust, emotional safety. Little by little, it disappears. And here's the part most people miss. It's not about the other person being bad. It's about the subconscious recognition that the relationship no longer supports your growth. Walking away isn't cold, it's survival. Your mind quietly signals that staying could be more damaging than leaving. This is why people who cut ties often feel guilty, even though deep down they know it's necessary. What actually breaks the bond isn't always a fight or betrayal. It's the accumulation of tiny, almost invisible cracks. Moments when they don't show up, conversations that leave you empty, boundaries that get ignored again and again. Psychologists call this relational erosion. It's a slow, almost imperceptible weakening of connection that no one notices until it's too late. And here's the cruel twist. Often, both friends are unaware it's happening. One keeps giving, one keeps taking. Neither sees the quiet drain until the choice becomes inevitable. By the time the decision is made to cut off contact, it's less a choice than an unavoidable outcome of months or even years of emotional depletion. Most people think the decision to end a friendship is simple, but inside, it's a storm. There's guilt, doubt, fear of judgment. What if I'm overreacting? What if I lose someone who mattered? Here's the twist few realize. Cutting off a friend often triggers the same grief as a breakup or even a loss. The mind goes through stages: denial, bargaining, anger, sadness. Yet unlike romantic breakups, society rarely validates this pain. You're told to just move on, as if your feelings don't exist. And this internal conflict is why the choice feels impossible. The very act of leaving is both liberation and heartbreak. It's a paradox, freedom wrapped in silent sorrow. Distance doesn't just feel like relief, it is relief. Every interaction that used to drain you now fades into quiet space. No more explaining yourself, no more overthinking what you said. Your mind finally gets room to breathe. Psychologically, your brain rewards this distance. Stress hormones drop, sleep comes easier, mood stabilizes. Even your body recognizes that some bonds were toxic in ways you didn't consciously see. But here's the subtle danger most people miss. Relief can feel like guilt, because part of you still remembers the history, the laughter, the shared secrets, and it whispers, "Did I do the right thing?" This is why cutting off friends is never just a social act, it's an emotional reset. Every choice comes with a hidden cost. Walking away protects your energy, but it also leaves a quiet void. You lose shared memories, inside jokes, the comfort of familiarity. Even if the friendship was draining, absence still echoes. Psychologically, your brain wrestles with contradiction, relief versus nostalgia, freedom versus loneliness. This tension lingers longer than anyone expects. And here's the part most people never acknowledge. Ending a friendship changes you in ways you can't fully explain. It sharpens you boundaries, forces self-reflection, and shifts your sense of trust. You become someone more aware, more cautious, but also, quietly, more resilient. The cost isn't always visible, but it's real, and it shapes the person you are next. And here's the quiet truth that changes everything. People who cut off old friends aren't heartless. They aren't dramatic or vindictive. They are survivors of subtle, invisible emotional erosion. The world sees the exit, the silence, the missing connections. But what no one sees is the courage it takes to choose yourself over comfort, to protect your mind, your peace, your growth. And here's the haunting part. The ones who leave carry both relief and a shadow of grief, a reminder that every bond lost shapes the person you become. Every friend walked away from is a piece of your story, silently teaching you what matters, who you are, and what you will no longer sacrifice. By the time you understand it, you realize this: cutting ties isn't the end of love, it's the beginning of knowing your own worth. If you enjoyed our video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Thank you.